My name is Claire. I am 28 years old. Life has not been easy for me. My father is ill and needs constant medical attention. This treatment costs a great deal of money. I work 2 jobs every single day to cover the bills. I am always exhausted. Every day feels like a battle. One evening, my close friend invited me to a gathering. It was a large celebration held in an elegant mansion. Everyone there seemed wealthy. Then I noticed Mr. Daniel Westbrook. He was dressed in a dark, perfectly tailored suit. His eyes lingered on me for a while. I couldn't imagine why a man like him would be interested in me. When the evening ended, it was late and the rain poured down. Mr. Daniel approached and asked, "Would you like a ride home?" I was caught off guard. His car looked like it belonged in a luxury showroom. I agreed, as I needed to get home and the rain was heavy. While driving, he asked softly, "Have you eaten yet?" He took me to an upscale restaurant. I felt uneasy sitting there with him. He remained mostly quiet, but his eyes stayed on me. After we finished eating, he gave me a look that felt distant and cold. He said, "Claire, I can see that life has been difficult for you. I am a wealthy man with no family. There are times I simply want someone to share my days with. I can provide you with money, a great deal of it. I can make sure you never have to work 2 jobs again. Your father could have the best medical care. Would you accept my help?" His words startled me. My mind told me something about this felt unusual, even wrong. Yet I thought of my father, of the constant struggle, of the endless bills. I looked at Mr. Daniel. His expression stayed serious, without the slightest smile. He was offering me an entirely different life. It felt like a dream, yet carried a dangerous edge. It meant stepping into the world of a man I barely knew. Still, I had to answer him. I told Mr. Daniel, yes. I agreed to his proposal. Everything shifted almost overnight. One day, I was exhausted from double shifts. The next, I was living in his world, one overflowing with wealth and luxury. It even owned a private jet. We traveled to different countries, staying in grand, breathtaking hotels. He purchased countless things for me: elegant dresses, high-end shoes, sparkling jewels, and golden diamonds. My new residence was an enormous estate. Mr. Daniel explained the rules of this life to me. He said, "I want companionship, Claire, not love. Stay loyal to me. Do not question my work. My business is mine alone. It is not for you to know." Then he handed me a document. It was a contract. It stated that I would live with him and serve as his companion. In return, he would provide me with a generous monthly allowance, an amount far greater than anything I had ever earned. It also declared that I must never speak about our life to anyone. I signed it, feeling uneasy, as though I had traded a part of myself. I convinced myself it was for my father, for his care, for a better life, for both of us. It was all about the money, not about love. Life with Mr. Daniel was far from simple. He was a reserved man, rarely showing emotion, though at times he could be gentle. I began to develop a feeling toward him, though it was not love. It felt unusual. He remained a mystery to me, a wealthy, influential man I lived beside but never truly understood. His sprawling home was stunning, yet it often felt like a gilded cage. I had every luxury imaginable, yet I didn't feel free. My heart would pound whenever he was close. One afternoon, I wandered into his study. On the polished desk sat a photograph. It was of a woman, strikingly beautiful. Who could she be? I wondered. Could she be his sister? But he had told me he had no family nearby. He never spoke of his past. I decided to ask Mr. Daniel about it. Mr. Daniel, I began, who is the woman in the picture in your study? He froze and turned to face me. His expression hardened. It's nothing, he replied flatly. Just an old photograph. It means nothing. Without another word, he slid open a drawer and tucked the picture away. He clearly didn't want me to see it or ask about it again. The way he hid it so quickly unsettled me. Why conceal it like that? There was also a housekeeper. Her name was Mrs. Conway. She was an elderly woman who had worked for Mr. Daniel for many years. One afternoon, I found myself in the kitchen with her, just the two of us. She studied me for a moment before speaking in a low voice. "Miss Claire," she whispered, "please be careful in this house. Mr. Daniel carries many secrets. What you see or hear here may not always be the truth. Just be careful." Her warning sent a chill through me. What was Mr. Daniel hiding from me? That night, he came to my room. His face unusually tense. "Claire," he began, "there's something important I need to ask you." My heartbeat quickened. "What is it?" I asked softly. "I need to get married," he said bluntly. "What? Married to me?" I blurted out in shock. "You said—" I started to continue, but he raised a hand to stop me. "It isn't a real marriage, Claire," he explained. "Not for love, strictly for business. I need a wife on paper for an upcoming deal. It will benefit my company greatly. This marriage will exist only in documents. Nothing between us will change. You will still live here, and I will continue to provide for you. You will be my wife in name only. Will you agree to this? A marriage without love, only for his business gain?" It felt strange, yet I agreed. The ceremony was quiet and small. There were no relatives, no friends, just Mr. Daniel and me, with a lawyer and Mrs. Conway as witnesses. I wore a stunning white gown, but I didn't feel like a bride. Happiness was absent. Instead, it felt like signing yet another contract binding me to him. That day, I became Claire Westbrook. Life after the paper marriage was unsettling. I carried the title of Mrs. Westbrook, attending events at his side. People often stared, seeing the young wife with the wealthy businessman. I tried to maintain a smile, but inside, I felt hollow. I felt deeply sad. It didn't feel like my real life. I was his wife, only on paper. And the emptiness of that truth was isolating. One afternoon, I decided to bring lunch to Mr. Daniel's office. As I entered the hallway, a sharp, angry voice echoed from inside. A woman was yelling, her tone full of fury. "He promised me," she cried out. "He promised to marry me." I froze in place. Who was this woman? And why was she shouting about Mr. Daniel? Then her eyes met mine. Her cheeks flushed a deeper red, and she jabbed a finger toward me. "You!" she screamed. "You stole my life. He was with me for years. He swore he would marry me. But you came along and took everything." Her name was Linda. She was raging about a promise Mr. Daniel had made to her. A real marriage. She had been the woman before me. He had told me our marriage was purely for business. Yet he had offered her something genuine. The realization cut deep. I left the office and went home. When Mr. Daniel Westbrook returned home, he made no mention of Linda. He behaved as if nothing had happened. Later, I happened to see his phone. There were messages from other women. Short notes like "thinking of you" and "call me." Was he still seeing others, even after marrying me? I felt adrift and deeply hurt. What else was he keeping from me? I knew I couldn't keep living in the dark. I had to uncover Mr. Daniel's secrets. I reached out to a man, a private investigator, someone known for uncovering hidden truths. I paid him a large sum of money that had originally come from Mr. Daniel himself. I used his own wealth to dig into his life. I asked the investigator to examine both his business dealings and his past. The findings were alarming. He told me Mr. Daniel's fortune came from corrupt deals, not legitimate business. He funneled money through fake companies, operated under false names, and used women to help conceal his activities. The investigator said, "Mrs. Westbrook, your marriage is legally valid, and because of the contracts you signed, one of his major companies is now, by law, under your name. Mr. Daniel could not take it back without my consent. He had placed it in my name when we married. Perhaps he intended to reclaim it later, but for now, it was legally mine. I had never known this. He had kept it from me. Mr. Daniel was a dangerous man. His wealth was tainted. He used people like me to serve his own ends. He never wanted me to hold any power. But he had made a fatal mistake. He had given me exactly that. He had no idea I knew the truth. I no longer felt sadness or fear. I decided to play along with his game. In public, I became the perfect wife, smiling, holding his arm, appearing devoted and loving. Mr. Daniel enjoyed this. Certain I was doing what he wished, But when I was alone in the vast house, I worked. I studied his business dealings. How did he earn his fortune? What were his future moves? I brought in people to help me understand the documents. I was not the foolish woman he believed me to be. I was preparing my escape from his life. A year went by. It was the day of our anniversary, 1 year since the paper marriage. Mr. Daniel came home. "Happy anniversary, Claire," he said. I met his gaze without fear. "Daniel," I replied, using his first name. His eyebrows lifted in surprise. "I know," I said plainly. "Know what?" he asked. "I know about Linda," I answered. "I know about the other women. I know about your corrupt dealings. And I know about the company you placed in my name when we married. By law, it belongs to me." His face darkened with fury. "How did you find this out?" he shouted. Calmly, I reached into my bag and pulled out a stack of papers. I set them on the table. "These are divorce papers," I said. "I'm leaving you, and I'm keeping the company." His voice rose into a roar. "You can't do this. You are nothing. I gave you everything." "You gave me money," I said, "and I used that money to educate myself. I learned about your business, your influence. You assumed I was just a silent, naive wife, but I wasn't." He stared at me, realizing I was right about the company. He knew the law stood with me. I didn't say another word. I turned and walked out of the grand house. I took no clothes, no jewelry, nothing he had given me. I was free from his grasp. The company belonged to me now. And I was finally free, powerful, and wealthy. It was the last day of my life with him, and the first day of my new chapter. If anyone tries to use you, remember, you can still rise by learning. Staying steady and trusting yourself, you can reclaim control over your life. You never have to remain in a toxic place. You can start over and create something better. If you enjoyed this story, please like, comment, share, and subscribe.